Chris Hipkins.
5 minutes into the debate, maybe 10, and the National Party are already trying to shut it down. Already trying to shut it down. Mr Chair, we should call this... Oh, that's right. Mr Chair, we should call this the Rodney Hyde Total Control of Auckland Bill, because this bill gives Rodney Hyde ultimate and total control of Auckland. It establishes a transition agency that he can handpick. It then says that that transition agency has to have all of its expenditure approved by the Minister, and it gives that transition agency the ultimate control over all of the decision-making of all of the democratically elected existing authorities in Auckland. It hands ultimate and total control to the ACT Party and to people like Rodney Hyde and Roger Douglas, because Rodney Hyde can now appoint whoever he likes to this transition authority, and that's why we should call this the Rodney Hyde Total Control Bill. He could appoint, if he so chose, Roger Douglas and Richard Prebble to this, because even though Roger Douglas is a member of the House, we know the National Party don't have any problem with double dipping. They don't have any problem with double dipping. They don't have any problem with someone being involved in local government politics at the same time as they are in this House. We should call this the Local Government Reorganisation Part 1 Bill. We should call it the Local Government Reorganisation Part 1 Bill because we know this is the first step in the National Party, the ACT Party's plans to merge all of the local authorities into super councils up and down the country. Now, I took an interest in this particular issue because I know that Paul Quinn and his mate John Terrace have been going around the Hutt Valley saying they're in favour of merging Wellington local authorities. So I asked Rodney Hyde if he'd received any advice on the merger of Lower Hutt's local authorities, and in fact he has.
Point of order, Paul Quinn.
I put to you, Mr Chair, that we're getting repetition.
I call Chris Hipkins to continue.
Thank you very much, Mr Chair. So I put it to Rodney Hyde, has he received any advice on the merger of the Upper Hutt and the Lower Hutt City Councils? And he has. He has already received advice on the potential merger of the Upper Hutt and Lower Hutt District Councils, City Councils. In Parliamentary Written Question 05571, it was confirmed that he received advice on the merger of the Upper Hutt and Lower Hutt City Councils on the 24th of April 2009. And I invite the Minister and the Chair to take a call and give the people of the Hutt Valley absolute reassurance that they're not going to lose their local governance as well as the Part 2 of this reorganisation that the National Party and the ACT Party are pushing, because we know that the Hutt Valley people cannot be certain that they would even get a say in that, because the National Party and the ACT Party would ram through more legislation in this House, and that's why we should call this the Local Government Reorganisation Part 1 Bill, because we know that there is more to come. We should call this the National Party Knows Best Bill, because we heard from members opposite that the people had their say on the 8th of November last year, and it's all over from there on in. They've got 3 years, they can do whatever they like under parliamentary urgency, and they don't have to go back and consult people. They don't even have to send legislation to a select committee. They can just do whatever they like, and that's why we should call this the National Party Knows Best Bill. We should call it that Jerry Brownlee's finally read the Standing Orders Bill, because after 3 days of debating amendments, Jerry Brownlee finally worked out how to get them ruled out of order. Not on his own. In fact, he probably had quite a bit of help from Rodney Hyde to do that. So Jerry Brownlee sat through 3 days of voting on amendments before he thought it might be a good idea to pick up the standing orders and maybe have a bit of a read. The Leader of the House has finally read the standing orders, and that's a cause for celebration. So we should call this the Jerry Brownlee has finally read the standing orders bill. We could call it the Where is Melissa Lee bill, because despite wanting to be the next MP for Mount Albert, she's not taken one single call on this debate. She wants to be the next Member of Parliament for a seat in the centre of Auckland, and yet she has absolutely nothing to say on the reorganisation of Auckland's local governance. We could call this the Privatisation is Back on the Agenda bill, because National may have gone around the country saying they wouldn't sell state-owned enterprises like Kiwibank, but they've suddenly discovered there's a whole lot of state assets and local government they can get their hands on and they can hock it off, and they voted against an amendment put forward by the Labor Party that would have saved it.
I call Nathan Guy.
Move that the question be now put.
I